Charlie didn't use Appendix D. He used the inspection guide and checklist from the Cessna Service Manual. Let's see how it compares to 14 CFR Part 43, Appendix D regarding guidance to mechanics for inspecting the elevator control system. The Cessna Service Manual inspection guidelines state, inspect movable parts for lubrication, servicing, security of attachment, binding, excessive wear, safetying, proper operation, proper adjustment, correct travel, cracked fittings, security of hinges, and defective bearings. The Cessna Service Manual inspection checklist includes inspect the airframe group, control column bearings, pulleys, cables and turnbuckles, control lock, control wheel, and control column mechanism, control systems, cables, terminals, pulleys, pulley brackets, cable guards, turnbuckles, and fair leads. Although not specifically stated in the Cessna inspection guidelines and checklist, as with Appendix D, it includes inspecting the elevator control system for missing safety devices. The mechanic is expected and required to inspect all movable parts for required safety devices. Our review of both CFR 14 Part 43 Appendix D and the Cessna Service Manual inspection guidelines and checklist reveal they provide the guidance, although broad and generic, that should have resulted in detection of the missing hardware during this inspection. If the Cessna Service Manual guidance was used, there may have been other factors or causes that attributed to the inadequate inspection that resulted in this near-fatal accident. 12 of the most common causes of human error in maintenance have been identified and termed the dirty dozen. If we minimize or control these 12 causes of errors, we will eliminate a very high percentage of maintenance-related events. All of us make mistakes. No matter how hard we try, that will never change. However, as aviation maintenance technicians, you must take the proper steps to minimize errors. It is a matter of safety. It is also a matter of pride in your work and a matter of cost control for your company. You can minimize errors by using all your senses, developing and using effective inspection techniques and job aids. This is most critical to maintain while inspecting an aircraft. Even though you have all necessary inspection aids, a checklist, and effective inspection techniques, your focus is constantly being challenged by distractions. Distraction is one of the 12 dirty dozen causes of human error in maintenance. It is defined as an unlimited number of possible events, conditions that interrupt one's ability to focus on a specific task. Using detailed checklists and going back 3 steps when you return to the job will reduce the likelihood of overlooking defects. If you recall, 14 CFR Part 43, Appendix D, and the Cessna Inspection Guide and Checklist both state what to inspect, but in broad, generic terms. Mechanic focus can be increased by developing a more detailed inspection checklist that breaks the aircraft into specific areas, systems, or components. Although the checklist may be extremely detailed, it must include the scope and detail of FAR 43 Appendix D. A well-prepared, very detailed, thorough, and comprehensive inspection checklist may significantly improve the quality of inspections performed by mechanics. However, to develop one requires the mechanic to have certain qualifications. Both certificated mechanics and non-certificated mechanics work on large aircraft operated under 14 CFR Part 121. They have the advantage in using the certificate holder's very thorough manual system as well as prepared work cards. However, using inspection checklists or prepared work cards alone may not be assurance that adequate inspections will be performed. A mechanic may lack the knowledge to effectively use the available inspection guidance. Lack of knowledge is another of the 12 dirty dozen common causes of human error in maintenance. It is defined as failure to have training, information, and/or ability to conduct a task. Mechanics must ask if they don't know and/or use current manuals to determine and maintain their knowledge of the procedures to do the task properly. The quality of work is influenced by certain attributes of a mechanic. Recall the inspection guidance we addressed previously. The level of detail contained in 14 CFR Part 43, Appendix D, the Cessna Service Manual Inspection Guidance, and inspection work cards are required to be used by mechanics with an expected level of experience, training, and knowledge. Experience, training, and knowledge, although closely related, have unique meanings. Experience is the act of having performed the task before. Repetitive acts will increase the mechanic's ability to complete the task properly. Having performed the task before is such an important attribute that it's a requirement in the Federal Aviation Regulation. It can be found in 14 CFR Part 65, Section 65.81, General Privileges and Limitations. The Maintenance Personal Minimums checklist also contains the question, have I performed the task previously? It is one of the 10 questions a mechanic should ask themselves and honestly answer before doing a task. Although experience is increased by doing repetitive tasks, it also increases the potential for another one of the 12 dirty dozen common causes of human error in maintenance, called complacency. Complacency is defined as overconfidence from repeated experience on a specific activity. Repetitive inspections, such as annual and 100-hour inspections, are ripe candidates for this. Mechanics must expect to find errors and not sign off inspections if they did not thoroughly complete the inspection. Training is instruction to increase mechanic proficiency to perform the task. The Maintenance Personal Minimums checklist contains the question, have I had the proper training to support the job task? It is another one of the 10 questions a mechanic should ask themselves and honestly answer before doing a task. Knowledge is the range of information or understanding a mechanic has about a particular task. The Maintenance Personal Minimums checklist contains the question, do I have the knowledge to perform the task? It is another one of the 10 questions a mechanic should ask themselves and honestly answer before doing a task. The Dirty Dozen refers to the 12 major causes of human errors in maintenance. Lack of knowledge also is one of those causes. It is the failure to have training, information, and/or ability to conduct a task. Mechanics can reduce this cause by 1. Asking questions when they don't know, 2. Use the current manuals. 14 CFR Part 65, Subpart D applies to all mechanics. Depending upon authorizations or ratings held, a certificated mechanic may perform or supervise certain inspections which ultimately result in approval for return to service. However, the requirements in 14 CFR Part 65, Section 65.81a must be complied with. 65.81. B. A certificated mechanic may not exercise the privileges of his certificate and rating unless he understands the current instructions of the manufacturer and the maintenance manuals for the specific operation concerned. Back to this particular Cessna scenario. The post-incident inspection revealed other indications that an adequate annual or 100-hour inspection may have not been performed. When the floor panels over the rudder pedals were removed to conduct a search for hardware, a loose check nut was found on push-pull rod on the pilot's right rudder pedal linkage. The check nut is a safety device that secures the rod end in the control rod. The investigation revealed that the certificated mechanic did not remove these panels during the previous inspections. Previously, we discussed complacency and the lack of knowledge, which are 2 of the 12 dirty dozen common causes of human failure in maintenance. But norms is another dirty dozen cause that also may have been a factor why the panels were not removed. Norms are defined as standard practices, usually undocumented, adopted by an organization or group. In the case of the Cessna 182 100-hour inspection, the mechanic revealed the panels were too difficult to remove and reinstall. An undesirable norm may have been adopted. Existing norms don't make it right. Good safety procedures were not followed because critical components located under the panels were not inspected, resulting in a defect on critical components not being detected. 14 CFR Part 43 Appendix D requires a certificated mechanic to open up the aircraft before beginning an annual or 100-hour inspection. FAR D43 A. Each person performing an annual or 100-hour inspection shall, before that inspection, remove or open all necessary inspection plates, access doors, fairing, and cowling. He shall thoroughly clean the aircraft and aircraft engine. In the case of this Cessna 182, the mechanic made a decision not to remove the rudder pedal panels. The result of this decision was failure to detect a defect on a critical component. The decisions mechanics make depends upon their experience, knowledge, and training. Decisions regarding the conduct on inspection are also influenced by pre-existing conditions. Again, let's return to the Cessna incident. Another serious defect was found during the post-incident evaluation. The mechanic failed to detect that a self-locking nut was almost completely backed off a bolt that secures the right aileron's push-pull control rod to the quadrant. The aileron quadrant assembly is located inside the aircraft wing and requires careful examination with flashlight and mirror to inspect it thoroughly. If this had been done, the defect on a critical component would not have been overlooked during the inspection.